The town of Ashland, in response to the COVID-19 coronavirus, is currently following the guidance from the Ashland Board of Health, Massachusetts Department of Public Health, and the CDC regarding the virus and steps communities can take to prevent the spread. In accordance with the governor's order suspending certain provisions of the open meeting law, General Laws, Chapter 30A, Section 20, all public meetings are being conducted remotely. To participate remotely from a computer, you can use the link that is noted in the agenda, or you can dial in via a telephone from telephone numbers that are listed. First order of business will be to call the meeting to order, and I believe each board member needs to identify himself that he is present. I, John Trefethen, am here. Stu, why don't you go next? Or Brian?
I, Brian Forrestall, am here.
Stu?
I, Stu Siegel, am here.
Nathan?
I, Nathan Band, am here.
And Chuck? You got to unmute yourself, Chuck.
Hi, Chuck Green, I'm here.
Excellent, thank you. Welcome all. First item on the agenda is a public hearing for 11 Franklin Road, a special permit. The Ashland Zoning Board of Appeals, this is the announcement that was published in the paper. The Ashland Zoning Board of Appeals will hold a public hearing on Tuesday, January 12th, 2021 at 7 p.m. via Zoom video conference to hear the petition of Marisa Hannon requesting a special permit per Chapter 40A, Section 6 of the Massachusetts Zoning Act and Chapter 282, Sections 3.1, Principal Uses, and 9.3, Special Permits of the Ashland bylaws to allow for the operation of a commercial kennel. The property in question is located at 11 Franklin Road, Assessors Map 19, Lot 105 in the RA zoning district. Parties wishing to be heard in this matter should appear at the time and place indicated above. Materials may be viewed at Town Hall during normal business hours or at, and there's a reference to the link where you can look at the materials online. And for more information or to submit comments, please contact Emma Snellings at 508-532-7930 or at esnellings@ashlandmass.com. Signed, John Trefethen, Chairman, Ashland Zoning Board of Appeals. We have the application that has been filed for the special permit. And who is representing the applicant this evening? And I see the hand of Marisa Hannon waving at us, so I am going to assume she is the one that will be making the presentation. The way our hearings customarily work is that we will start with the applicant's presentation of the application. The board will have an opportunity to ask questions. Typically, when that is done, we open the matter up for public comment. I do see that there are a number of people on the video screen that I assume are part of the general public, and we go forward from there. So having said all of that, Ms. Hannon, I will turn the matter over to you.
All right, thank you, John. My name is Marissa. I'm in charge of the operations at Doggy Dates, and I am joined by Elizabeth, who is our business owner, and then the Hickses, who are the property owners that we would be renting space from. So I'm just going to start and give you a little rundown of what we do at Doggy Dates, and we've been operating for a little bit over 8 years. We started in the Wellesley area. Elizabeth actually started it herself, just going door to door, finding people that needed care for their dogs. And our service is a little bit different than your average doggy daycare in that we are taking dogs to play in private space that is just used by doggy dates. And we are not in an indoor facility like you would have a normal dog daycare where you bring your dog to a building, they play inside. This is kind of meets in the middle between a dog walker and a dog daycare. So we provide the transportation. We have Toyota Scions that we customize for the dogs, and the seats are taken out. We build up crating inside of them. Our driver will go and pick up a group of dogs and take them to one of the locations that we've rented, fenced in for the dogs to play. So what we were trying to do in Ashland is find a location that would allow us to have Ashland customers and also keep the car time down for the dogs. So we basically we look for land that fit the criteria of at least 5 acres, which is in the bylaw in Ashland, and had a big enough space where we wouldn't be a bother to the neighbors, but also a safe space to bring the dogs. So ideally what we want to do is build up a small enclosure. So just imagine your average dog park. It's a fenced in space. The dogs play contained. They can be off leash, but safely. We don't have to worry about them getting out. And also we don't have to worry about other dogs being on the property that might be unfriendly, that might not be vaccinated. It allows us to control the setting to keep the groups small, safe, and manageable for our staff. So small and safe means on average 5 dogs would be taken by our driver and then supervised for 45 minutes to play on the property within the enclosure. After the 45 minutes is up, the driver packs up the dogs and brings them home. And then the driver does that 3 separate times during the day. So the dogs are never on the property for more than 45 minutes, and they're never alone. It's never overnight. It's only Monday through Friday. Our first group of the day generally arrives at 8:45. It could be a little bit after, depending on how long it takes to pick up, how far apart the dogs are. And that's when that first group would start. So they're there for 45 minutes, packed back up in the car by our driver, and then brought home. The customers never are on the property. It's only the driver. The transportation is an integral part of our service. So we're picking up those dogs in our company vehicle, bringing them to the site to play in the fenced enclosure, and then putting them back in the car and bringing them home. So that's essentially what we were doing. In other towns, we would like to be able to offer that as well in Ashland. And that was what brought us to the Hicks property. And they have over 15 acres of space, and a lot of it is unused. And so we approached them and asked them if this would be something they'd be interested in renting a space, and they agreed. So we began the process of working with the town to try to get that permitted so that we could start offering this in Ashland. So that is Doggy Dates in a nutshell, what brings us to you. The points that I really want to drive home are the facts that we would not have any customers on the property ever. So there's no pickup or drop off option. It's just our vehicle, our one vehicle. And the dogs are never alone and never there overnight and never on weekends. So we're not asking to board them in the traditional sense. We're just asking for these small spurt play groups where we can bring them to play so that we know that they're safe and then bring them home. And that's really it.
Let me start off, if I may, with this. And what you're proposing isn't technically what we all think of as a kennel, but under the zoning bylaws, a commercial kennel is probably the closest thing that it's identified to.
Yes.
And as you look at Chapter 282, Section 3.1, that describes the allowed uses in principal uses in various zoning districts. In an RA district such as ours, such as 11 Franklin Road, the one that we're dealing with, a commercial kennel can, with a special permit grant from the Zoning Board of Appeals, be used as a principal use. What you're proposing, however, on this property is not a principal use of this property. The principal use of the property is the Einen Hicks home. If you look at section 3.1 and go down to subparagraph G, it talks about the accessory uses that are allowed on property in the various zoning districts. And under the RA district, we have accessory scientific uses, rooming and boarding not more than 2 persons, home occupation, adult daycare, child daycare small, child daycare large, accessory family dwelling unit, and drive-through. And if you go on to section 3.2, it says that except as provided by law or in this bylaw in each district, no accessory use, building, or structure shall be constructed, used, or occupied, nor shall land be used or occupied, except for the purposes permitted as set forth in the accompanying table of use regulations. So on the surface, it would seem that what you propose is not an allowed accessory use in an RA district. If it was the primary use, then it would be allowed via a special permit granted by the board. In some communities, 2 principal uses are allowed on one parcel of land. The Ashland zoning bylaws are silent on that matter as to whether you can have 2 principal uses. If yours was considered to be a principal use, as I said, it would be subject to a special permit grant by this board. We have reached out to town council for an opinion as to whether your application qualifies as an accessory use or whether it could be qualified as a second primary use of the property. As a board, without the advice of council, it's not a decision that we should make without council advising us on what the legal rights are.
Okay.
And for that reason, rather than go forward with the normal process that we have, that I described earlier, with questions from the board, public comment, etc., I think the best way to proceed is for us to continue this hearing to our next meeting, which would be on January 26th. Our legal counsel has advised us that we should receive her written opinion by that time so that we would know what the rights are and what we can or can't do. It's an unusual situation, frankly, not one that in the 6 or 7 years I've been on the board that we've ever come across. And I thank our assistant town planner Emma and town planner Peter for calling it to our attention and reaching out to council to try and get an opinion. We hope to have it before this evening, but we were not able to do so. So that being said, Stu,
we continue.
Yeah, is there any
meeting
objection to that? I think that's the way we really have to proceed tonight. I apologize to the applicant for taking the time to come here, making a presentation, and I apologize to those members of the public who are looking in to see what's going to happen. But I think, Brian, you made a motion to continue it to January 26th.
That's correct.
Is there a second?
I, Stu Siegel, second that motion.
Okay, and Chuck and Nathan, you're permitted certainly to engage in this and vote on this. All in favor? I, John Trefethen, vote in favor.
I, Brian Forrestall, vote in favor.
I, Stu Siegel, vote in favor.
And I, Chuck Green, vote in favor.
I, Nathan Band, in favor.
Okay, very good. Then, thank you very much. The matter will be continued until January 26th at 7 p.m. And again, thank you for your time, and we will see you in 2 weeks.
Can I ask just one quick question?
Certainly.
Okay, I'm just wondering what is considered the primary use of the property? Residence? Is that what the primary?
The primary purpose would be the Heinen Hicks home.
Okay, so that's all right. So what you're asking town council is if there can be a second primary use, because
Correct.
Accessory,
Correct.
this wouldn't work because it doesn't fall within the bylaw as.
Correct. Correct. That's how we are interpreting the bylaw.
Okay.
And as I said, some communities in their bylaws allow for more than one primary use. Ashland doesn't address that one way or the other.
Okay.
And it's just a question of what authority we have.
Mhm. Of course.
Mr. Chairman, I actually have one quick question if you have another moment. I was wondering if it's possible to, if it's, I don't know if it's appropriate or not, if we can get the answer from town council before that meeting so that we might not necessarily waste your time. I'd love to try, and if there are any neighbors who are concerned. I'm Elizabeth, by the way. I think Marissa said that. I started the company a long time ago. Well, 8 years ago. But anyway, I was hoping that we've done this before, and I do know that sometimes neighbors have concerns, and I'd love to be able to answer their concerns before having you all have to be involved in kind of us answering all the same questions. So my point is it possible to find out if this is even possible, and then we can try and reach out and answer anyone's questions without wasting your time?
Sure. Emma, I have no problem in advising them as soon as we know what position we're going to have, what our rights are going to be on the 26th. It's not really a question of neighbor opposition. It's a legal question of what the town's bylaws, zoning laws allow.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, we can definitely share the opinion from town council once we get it with the applicant.
Okay, great.
So Emma will be in touch with you on that.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Great, thank you. Thank you, Emma.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, everybody. Moving on to the,
Hey, John, Robin Hicks.
Oh.
Just wanted to thank the
Yes.
ZBA for all the work you guys have done in the past and in the future. You guys are doing a great job. Appreciate it. Thank you very much.
it's good to see you again, Mr. Hicks, in a slightly different position than several years ago.
Yeah, but we made it work, didn't we?
We did.
All right. Have a great night.
Thank you.
Guys.
Thank you all.
Okay, next item on the agenda then is approval of the minutes from our last meeting on December 29th. Emma sent out a draft. Emma, did you receive any proposed changes from anyone?
No, I did not.
Okay. Then is there a motion to approve the minutes of the December 29th, 2020 ZBA meeting as presented?
So moved.
That was Stuart Siegel making that motion. Is there a second?
Chuck Green, second the motion.
Okay. All in favor? I, John Trefethan, in favor.
I, Stu Siegel, am in favor.
I, Brian Forrestall, in favor.
I, Chuck Green, am in favor.
I, Nathan Band, abstain.
Okay, approved. Staff updates and administrative matters. Are there any updates or administrative matters we need to deal with, Emma?
No, no updates today.
Okay. I do believe then the chair would entertain a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Motion to adjourn.
That's from Brian Forrestall. Is there a second?
I, Stu Siegel, second that motion.
Okay, all in favor? I, John Trefethan, vote in favor.
I, Stu Siegel, vote in favor.
I, Brian Forrestall, vote in favor.
I, Nathan Band, in favor.
I, Chuck Green, vote in favor.
Okay, then I do believe we are adjourned. Thank you, everybody.
Good night,
Aye.
everyone.